how to stop copy pasting values. Not too long ago, I was punished for something that I had done that was viewed as indisciplinary. I understand that what I had done was not appropriate, at the very least. But what hit me hardest was how isolated it made me feel. There were strong, repetitive allegations thrown at me. But the one that stung the most? You have no values. Which got me thinking and questioning and thinking some more. Values became guiding principles for our forefathers to create social systems. They helped us make our decisions based on what we deemed important. Now, is this what I see in real life? Sometimes, but mostly no. For some, it's merely a word that looks good in interviews. The reason I chose to speak about this topic was because I feel that most of our value systems seem to have been generated by the same AI. The big issue with this is that we are unable to accept our differences because our value systems seem the same. If we were to truly understand these values and build our identities based on them, it would become so much easier to navigate this complex jungle of our societal structures. So I decided to try and navigate my own value system, and it became so much easier to explain myself to those around me while also understanding them. We would be able to express our identities in terms of who we are, rather than our name, age, place, where we come from, so on. This reflection could help us grasp the weight of our words and maybe even live by the principle of put your actions where your mouth is. Honesty. According to UNODC, honesty is speaking and acting truthfully towards others. It is more than not lying, deceiving, stealing, or cheating. It entails showing respect towards others. Out of the thousands of definitions I had come across, this is the one I wanted to rely upon the most. Although, I find it interesting that respect was mentioned. This is because of brutal honesty. This type of honesty could come from your best friend or your worst enemy. Now, I don't think your worst enemy would respect you as an individual, but they might respect you as a living organism. Another reason I appreciated this definition was because it mentioned truthfulness. Truthfulness means to actively make known the full truth of a matter. So, it's basically when you tell your teacher that the dog ate the homework, but also mention how the homework was only half done. Truthfulness is the bigger picture. And yes, we can use honesty to manipulate and give people the half-truths. But we can also use it to help spare someone's feelings. Just imagine this. Your brother makes a disgusting-looking dish straight out of a sci-fi movie. And instead of saying, that's disgusting, you just said, that looks creative. That is still being honest, but not truthful. So, when my brother had done this twice, let's just say, after I replied with, that looks creative, we didn't end up arguing till midnight. My point is, being honest but politely delivering your message can make all the difference, even when the truth, or in this case, the half-truth, is harsh. The reason I mention these two values is because honesty and truthfulness are classified as two distinct values. So we choose which of them we want to align with. Forgiveness. It has typically been regarded to as a personal response to having been hurt or wronged. Now, in my experience, when someone wrongs me, there's these droplets of anger that sink into my heart. And the longer I spend thinking about it, the more it starts to behave like a plague toward my mind. I can remember a time when I had an awful fight with a dear friend. And for whatever reason, I was just not able to forgive her. And it annoys me that I still haven't. That is why I can still quote the conversation that took place that day verbatim. But despite all that, I still valued her as a close friend. I realized then that I had partially learned to forgive her because of how close I held her to my heart. So, as much as I wanted to implement the value of forgiveness in terms of this situation, I just couldn't, and that is perfectly fine. A famous psychologist, Dr. Robert Enright, once said that we all have lines drawn in the sand beyond which we cannot forgive an act or a person. This may be true for some of us, but after all, these lines are drawn in sand, not in concrete. So we choose what to forgive and what not to forgive as our understanding of forgiveness changes. What I've come to realize is that whenever I've truly and genuinely forgiven an action or someone, I cannot remember what the issue was to begin with. I remember having another fight with the same friend. I didn't talk to her for days. But eventually, we forgave each other's actions. That is why, if someone asked me today what the instance was about, I wouldn't remember it, even if there was a gun pointed at my head. Talking about forgiveness, let me show you just how unique our value systems can be. In the early 1960s, there were persecutions of Buddhists by the South Vietnamese government of Ngo Dinh Diem. Thich Quang Duc, a Buddhist, wanted to show how important kindness and forgiveness were during such tough times. So he tells the oppressive government that he forgives them, while also protesting peacefully by setting himself on fire. On the other hand, Aristotle, he had a different way of thinking about forgiveness. He believed that the wrongdoer cannot be completely blamed due to external factors. This shows how distinct our values are to each of us. By the way, how many of you trust whatever I have said up until now? Trust is the firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. It involves a willingness to be vulnerable based on the expectation that the trusted party will act in one's best interest. Trust takes time, open communication, and consistent actions. Okay, let me be truthful for a minute. So, whatever I just said in the past 15 seconds has been taken off of perplexity. Let me ask you again. Do you trust my words now? And what if I said that I was just messing with you and I actually did write that myself? And I might have made this speech ineffective by saying all this, but oh well. So, a little detour to a sunny day at the beach. The sea can seem like a scary place, can it not? Whatever the case may be, 8-year-old me decided to jump right in and within 5 milliseconds ran right back out because a jellyfish had stung me. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. Plus, I was only 8. But what this did to me is it taught me not to trust the sea again and almost even created a chronic fear of it. It's the same when a dear one breaks your trust. They teach you not to trust them again, and it's extremely difficult to unlearn the lessons from such heartbreaking instances. Now, this is what trust means to me, but think about what it means to you. Respect is the value I refer to as the most problematic. Isn't it so open to interpretation that the smallest of actions can signify the presence or the lack of respect? So I live abroad, Dubai to be exact. Now, in certain parts of my extended family, it's respectful to touch an elder's feet. But in school, I once saw a young boy touch the feet of his Arabic teacher. He was shouted at badly for this. Turns out, at home, feet were a symbol of respect. But at school, this action only brought discomfort. So a small symbol can signify respect in one culture and something entirely different, maybe even disrespect in another culture. To me, there are different types of respect. Respect for a person's perspective, respect for their ideas, respect for their profession. Okay, one of my relatives, for example, I respect him as a wonderful uncle with unique perspectives on a range of topics. But I would never respect him as an individual because of the way he acts during instances that may be hurtful to others? Aren't there a variety of factors we each have to consider before truly respecting another individual? Respect due to age is something I've questioned for an exhausting amount of time. It's almost as if, in our society, age just seems to guarantee respect. Most of us, at least I, only do it because it'll end up bad for me if I don't. But I'm sure my mother would agree if she's thinking about her mother-in-law. The same would go for a child prodigy. I would respect them for their knowledge and ample amount of skills, not for their individuality. Now, I could dive into every fundamental value, justice, equity, compassion, but what truly matters is taking the time out to understand these concepts and align them with your moral compass. Once you have your values in place, a lot of new situations, words, places, even songs will fall in front of you from a newer lens. Understanding a moral compass, be it your friends or your own, it makes it easier to accept differences. Once you start this journey of self-discovery, you may even find that it almost eliminates the definition of a good person as we know it. So yeah, figure out your values, be original, find yourself, and please don't use AI for this. Thank you.